I may lose 72 pounds, sans dump. But let's get right into it. Last night, the Lakers and the Nuggets. The Lakers, they disappeared. Where in the Sam and Henry was LeBron James? What happened to the great Anthony Davis? They absolutely disappeared. I mean, like, what? Where are you? What are you doing? And I got to tell you something else. Guess what? The Nuggets are likable. The Nuggets are really, really likable. Like, the Nuggets are the kind of team that you can root for. And I can't wait to tell you about George Karl and his spat with JR Smith. You're not going to believe the coach and the former player, what went on here. We'll get into that. But last night, I don't know. You better guard Jamal Murray. How does Kentucky lose games under John Calipari? Like, every dude from Kentucky, whether it's Devin Booker or last night Jamal Murray, they just go off. I mean, stupid off in the NBA playoffs, and I don't understand any of it. Like, I don't understand how Kentucky hasn't won based on NBA play 8 bazillion national championships. I mean, Jamal Murray is just going stupid last night. If you didn't watch it because you don't like the NBA, get over that, because the NBA has stopped with all the woke crap. The NBA has stopped with all the garbage. The NBA has said, all right, we've got the best players in the world, and we're going to go play basketball. That's what we're going to do. And I don't want to hear about whatever. 23 of his 37 in the fourth quarter. That's what Jamal Murray did. The crowd was insane. The place was nuts. Don't know what the hell LeBron James was doing, missing like 19 straight threes. I don't know what Anthony Davis was doing, but I'll tell you what I do know. I do know this. My Serbian brother, Nikola Jokic, let me give you his stat line so I don't screw it up because it's so good. The dude went for, 23 points, 17 rebounds, 12 assists. He did have 5 turnovers. He'll throw the ball to the other team, but hey, there's the score, 108-103. The Nuggets are 2 up. But listen, everybody losing their mind on the Lakers. Just relax a second. LeBron James has to go up at some point. Let's see, James 9 of 19. Okay, 0 for 6 from 3. Okay, 4 for 15 is what Anthony Davis was. 4 for 15. All right, so the narrative in the NBA is always this. The narrative is always, we're disrespected. Mike Malone is the head coach, and he's a likable dude, really likable dude. He's the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. Let's hear from Coach Malone on the disrespect. This goes back to like Van Gundy, Riley, all those guys when they're, the referees are not respecting us. Nobody's respecting us, blah, 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 blah. Let's hear from Mike Malone.
A lot of our guys, to be honest, they may not admit this or not. You win game 1 of the playoffs, and all everybody talked about was the Lakers. Let's be honest. That was a national narrative was, hey, the Lakers are fine. They're down 1-0, but they figured something out. No one talked about Nikola just had a historic performance. He's got 13 triple-doubles now, 3rd all-time. What he's doing is just incredible, but the narrative wasn't about the Nuggets. The narrative wasn't about Nikola. The narrative is about the Lakers and their adjustments. So, you put that in your pipe, you smoke it, and you come back, and you know what? We're going to go up 2-0. Do you think
that's an old school line right there. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That means we're kicking the crap out of you, and it is the opposite of what you said would happen. So we're whooping you. Put it in your pipe and smoke it, Jennifer. That's right. And recalibrate that watch. Put it in your pipe, get yourself a smoke, and smoke it. And he's right. Look, that dude right there, my Serbian brother, who can do no wrong. Like, look, if the guy in the subway that got killed did no wrong, then my Serbian brother, Nikola Jokic, can do no wrong. I don't care what he does. He didn't do it. I don't care where he was. He wasn't there. I don't care. I mean, if we can do it to other people, I'm doing it with Jokic, and Jokic is my Serbian brother, and I'm very proud that he is my Serbian brother. I've never met the dude. I don't know the dude. In fact, I'm really only half Serbian, half Polish. He looks a little Polish, too. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Nikola Jokic is the man. All right, now let me get to something that is interesting to me. Nike has pulled the Ja Morant shoe from its website without explanation after the NBA star went off with a gun again. Oh, my God. See, Nike not mad at China. They're not mad at slave labor. The whole world is run by childhood labor. That's all of our policies, because when you pay people less, profit margins go up. You see what I'm doing here? So everything we do in our world truly revolves around low-paid labor. It does. So Nike isn't upset about any of that. They're upset because one of their stars is waving a gun and acting like an idiot. Well, good for Nike. Hey, look, at least they're trying that. At least they'll do that. I mean, you would think that Nike, a operation that tries so hard to sell us on the goodness of Nike, you would think that Nike would need a little good PR. I don't know if this is good PR. People just don't care. We're so tired of it anymore. But good for Nike. Ja Morant shoe off the table. Goodbye. Ja Morant, I tell you before, I'll tell you again, get mad at me all you'd like. I got called a racist for this. I got called very smart for this. But Ja Morant needs to change his whole thing. I told you, cut your damn hair. Get serious about your crap. Change your look. Change everything about you. Get rid of those friends. Write down every friend that you know. Here's my friend. Nope. Burn the list. Get rid of these guys. Tell them block my number. See which one sues, because somebody's going to sue and somebody's going to blackmail you. But hey, that's all right. That happens no matter what. What are you going to do? You remember JR Smith? Now, backstory on JR Smith. We tried to get JR Smith on the show. This is where I'm going to act like media guy. And according to my producers, J.R. Smith, the former LeBron hanger-on, couldn't have been a bigger jackass. His people could not have been bigger jackasses. Well, J.R. Smith is one of these guys that talks. So J.R. Smith, former NBA player, you got to see this and you got to see the response, goes on a show. I'm sure everybody's smoking weed, whatever. And he discusses the Hall of Fame coach, George Karl. Let's hear from J.R. Smith.
Like, seriously, we didn't have one out-of-bounds play my whole time playing for this man. If you go back to that Lakers series, we lose on 3 out-of-bounds plays. Trevor Ariza steals all of them, and we lose. It's like, how do you I don't know.
All right, that's J.R. Smith. These players now, it's never their fault. Right? It is never their fault. It's not my fault. I'm J.R. Smith. Oh, wow. You're J.R. Smith? Oh, okay. All right. Now, let's hear or let's see George Karl's response. This is glorious. Let's see it. I'm happy for the real J.R. Smith these days with his education, golf, etc. And he's the second best athlete I coach after Sean. That would be Sean Kemp. RE out of bounds plays. I'm sure JR was smoking weed when we practiced them, but it's 15 years ago. Let's celebrate and move forward. Now, J.R. Smith was smoking weed when we practiced them. That is glorious. I love George Karl. I am Team Karl because he's right. Dudes show up in the NBA. They're high. They're absolute messes sometimes. Not some aren't, and most aren't. But J.R. Smith, absolutely. This is the perfect response. I'm happy for real J.R. Smith these days with his education, his golf, etc. And he's the second best athlete I coach after Sean. Are out of bounds plays. I'm sure JR was smoking weed when we practiced them, but it's 15 years ago. Let's celebrate and move forward. See, this is the beauty of the modern media. Players back in the day, it's never their fault. Oh my God, it's not their fault. No. I will give you a mea culpa. 100 years ago, 1984, I spun dribbled. Kent Needham stole it from me. Went down, minute 18 to go. We went from 1 up to 1 down. A lot of people blame me for Indiana not going to the Final Four. I'll accept the blame for both. I'll accept the blame for not going to the Final Four, and I will accept the blame for spin dribbling. Why? I'll tell you why. Because Coach Cruz told me never spin dribble. And for some reason I spun. You don't spin. Don't spin. Don't spin. No spinning. No. But I spun. I love it. I see athletes don't want to take any. Well, we never had out of bounds play. And we lost because of out of bounds play. We did? Really? That's why you lost, because out of bounds plays? No kidding. That's what happened, JR? JR, you're an idiot. JR, I don't like you. JR, you didn't even know what the score was. Maybe you were high then. Were you high then, JR? Somebody should ask. Were you high then when you didn't know the score and LeBron went, what are you doing? But I guarantee that wasn't JR's fault. That was somebody on the bench's fault. Chris Webber has never to this day taken blame for calling the most ridiculous timeout in the history of NCAA tournament basketball after he traveled. So players aren't going to do that. Players are never going to do that. But good for George Karl. Good for George Karl firing back at a moron. A couple of other things. Did you see this? This is unbelievable. No, seriously, this is incredible. Watch this fight on a soccer field. On a soccer field. So a Virginia man was arrested after starting a brawl on a soccer field. Give a look. Look at this guy. This is kid soccer. We're just going to throw hands. We're just going to start fighting. Look at this. Look at these idiots. Now we're squaring each other up. Never fight up. Guy in the beard, don't fight up, although a nice move there. Look at this brawl. And look at the kids. It's a kid's soccer game. Look at the mom. The parents are acting like, look at this guy. Here goes the kid saying, screw you, Karen. Look at these idiots. How about that? Now, I'm going to go today to the Harvard Arkansas game, and I'm thinking about throwing hands. The only time I ever came close is when some little scrawny meth-looking dude in a college game told me he was going to knock the white off me. And I just started laughing. Okay, well, I'm right here. Don't fight in the stands. Look, I would have arrested all of them. Every adult that didn't walk away, I'm like, you know what? I've had enough of you. I've had enough. Goodbye. Goodbye. And I have a lovely day. Have a wonderful day. It's nice to see you. Hope everybody's doing well, but I don't want to deal with any of you idiots. None of you. I don't. Why are we brawling in the stands? Why are we throwing hands in the stands? You see it every day. Every day. Every single day you see it. All right. So Joe Dahmen is a guy that you saw. He plays on the PGA Tour. And he's a guy that you saw in that Netflix show, and he's a guy that doesn't try hard enough. And, he's great. He's fine. He's, everybody liked him. But I thought, you know what? You got all of this talent, and you just waste it. So this guy hit a guy named Caleb McGuire. Shout out to Joel Dahmen for hitting my calf with a tee shot today on hole number 1. He proceeds to ask me how much beer costs at the tournament. And I tell him it's $17 a pop. He pulls out a crispy 100 and says, I got your beers today. There he is. So he nails a fan, drills him, and pulls out a hundy and says, you know what? Beer's on me today. See, now that I can get behind. That has some sass to me. That has some meaning to me. That I like. I mean, let's be honest. If you're going to hit a guy, now you don't mean to hit a guy. You don't want to hit a guy. There's no reason to hit a guy. You're not trying to hit a guy. But if you do, be a dude. Be an adult male with a sack. Don't be an adult, kind of male. Maybe you have a sack. No. Be an adult male, have a sack, whip out a hundy or so, and say, look, I owe you beers. I'm a professional golfer. I'm not supposed to be hitting fans. And part of hitting a fan, here's the problem with golf. You and me, we hit it over the green. There's not a stadium there. I think professional golfers aren't as good as what they're made out to be. They hit it into a stadium. They get a free drop. Your and my ball goes into the water behind the stadium or into the woods or into the creek. These dudes, they hit a fan. It bounces back in. Next thing you know, they get 4. You and I hit it left. It goes past. It goes out of bounds. We're re-teeing. The next thing you know, we got 8. Yeah, I don't think they're as good. I'm totally kidding. Professional golfers are so freaking good. It's disgusting. Professional golf is the last of the cowboys. They're playing for their dinner. They are. They're playing for their dinner. Guy gets guaranteed money. Guy gets guaranteed contract. JR Smith made millions of dollars in guaranteed money. If he had to act and play for his dinner, he couldn't do it. These guys, you hit one bad shot, it costs you $100,000. I love it. I think it's freaking awesome, and I ain't afraid to say it. These guys are the last of the Cowboys. Rafael Nadal, who is the French Open champ, I mean, let's just, be honest. He withdraws. He's got an injured wrist. He's withdrawn from Paris, from the Champs-Élysées, the French Open, and says 2024 may be his last. Now, I got to tell you, Rafa Nadal I'm not the biggest tennis guy. I like to watch the majors. I like breakfast at Wimbledon. I like getting up and having sports on my TV. You and I have talked about this for years. He's won the French Open 14 times. 14 times. Now, he's got a hip injury. He suffered it in Australia. So he's like, hey, look, he's going to be away from the court for a few months. He's 36 years old. What the hell does he need to play for? So if I'm Rafa Nadal, you know what I'm doing? I was just going to say something that would have been like very sexist to some, funny to others. So I'll just let it go. It's a beautiful Friday here in Fayetteville, and I don't need phone calls. You know what I'm saying? So Rafa Nadal to me isn't playing in the French, which means the French Open is not interesting. All right. You fans of the Smiths, you probably know this. Andy Rourke, bass drummer, guitarist, dead. 59 years old. He passed away. I like the Smiths. I do. Smiths are fun. They're weird. I like it. I got introduced to the Smiths back in I don't even know, when I was at Bowling Green. I kind of like the Smiths. I can't name you one song, but I don't know. I kind of like it. Player at Louisville, a signee from Louisville, hits a walk-off home run in extra innings with his dad on the call. Now, that's pretty cool. Taggart Tyson, he walked it off. His dad, Torrey Tyson, was on the call. Let's give a watch.
Come on, Tiger. Right here. End it.
Oh, God. End it. He hasn't got one out of the infield, Brian.
Right there.
He ended it. Get out of the yard.
Get out of here.
Get out of the yard. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye.
Baby.
Oh, my goodness. See you later. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tiger Tyson.
Oh, my goodness. One pitch and get out.
Well, that makes me feel like a bad parent, because when I was broadcasting games at ESPN, my son one time made a turnover. He threw it to the other bench, and I said, well, if he continues to make turnovers, when he comes home, he sleeps in the garage. I said that on national TV. Nobody got mad. His mother laughed. We all laughed. And I guess maybe you got to have your own sense of humor. And good for that family, right? Good for them. The kid hits a walk-off. The dad gets to call it. And apparently it had to, I would assume. I think it would have had to have been the local, TV station, right? This wasn't a national broadcast. This couldn't have been hey, make sure that you are neutral. Make sure you are unbiased. Make sure. People always say, they always say, you're supposed to be unbiased. You can't be unbiased. Whenever my son would play, you see this hand? No, it would be this hand. This hand would be under the announcer's table, grabbing Tirico or hitting Tirico or Benetti or elbowing him. You couldn't see me, but I'm like, because you want your kid to do good. Let's be honest. You want your kid to be good. You want him to be good. So good for Torrey Tyson, the dad, better for Taggart Tyson. And you know what? We all want our kid to be good. We don't want our kid to stink. Who wants your kid to stink? I don't want my kid to stink. I want my kid to be good. I want my kid to hit a home run. Hit a home run. Whenever I get high pitched, something serious is happening. But hey, look, the kid hit the home run. The dad was on the call, and I'm all about it. I'm absolutely all about it. Good for him. What else we got here? We got good stuff this morning. FanDuel pulled a TV host for saying cheating and death are part of horse racing. Now, I don't know. I own horses. I'm a part owner. This guy, Ken Rudolph, horse racing needs to stop pretending and be just what it is. It's a great combo of WWE, reality TV sports, with a healthy dose of BS on the side. It's a great game. Cheating is part of it. Death is part of it. Losing is part of it. Winning makes it all worthwhile. I'm going to tell you, I know I'm supposed to have a real problem with what he said. And I do not like the fact that this guy in horse racing is saying this. But I also have to say, the last line, winning makes it all worth it. I'm not saying winning makes death worth it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is whatever you go through in horse racing, winning does make it worth it. Now, here's the deal. Ken Rudolph is an idiot for saying that death and cheating. I'm in the horse racing business, not big, but you've met my guy, Vince. Vince runs our syndicate, and we don't cheat. Nobody cheats. I mean, what are you doing? Nobody cheats. And if there is even a little bit of a problem on a track or with our horse, the horses don't run, period. Like, we're not running horses that may break a leg, because you know what happens when you break a leg? When you break a leg in horse racing, you know what happens. Horses die. We love the animals. So this guy is an idiot for saying this. The bottom line in horse racing, of course, is you want to win. And winning does cure all ails in every sport, but not at the expense of cheating, not at the expense of winning. So you want to say that horse racing is a beautiful sport. I don't know the ins and outs of it enough, but it's a beautiful sport. Like, you go one time just in the afternoon, just go to Hoosier Park or go to Horseshoe Indianapolis here in Indianapolis. And you know what? On an afternoon, you can stand on the rail. The power, the speed, the drive, the determination. So FanDuel, good for you. FanDuel strongly supports equine safety reforms, including our longstanding support of retirement, aftercare programs. Yeah. The deal is very simple. Don't be an idiot about your sport. Don't be an idiot about your sport. I mean, it's simple. Don't be an idiot about your sport. I mean, hey, look, I'm an idiot about a lot of things, but not about my sports. I like them. I don't think death is a part of any sport. So do whatever you want. So that dude is done. One of the things that I'm looking forward to talking to today, did you know this? Did you know that in the NFL, Joe Burrow is already up for a contract? Now, I don't want to be one of these old guys. They don't have to give him a contract, but Armando, we're going to talk about it. But think about this. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Does it not seem like to you, or does it not seem like to me, that Joe Burrow was just winning a national championship? Does it not seem that Joe Burrow was just winning, smoking a cigar for LSU, and Ed Ogeron was sitting there doing whatever things Ed Ogeron is doing? I swear to God, I saw this today with Armando. We're going to talk about Joe Burrow's contract extension, and I thought to myself, this can't be. This cannot be. Did you see this? Mitch Trubisky. There must be something about Mitch Trubisky. You know that girl or guy that you knew back in the day, and there was just something about her or just something about him? There was just something about it. Don't know what it is. People call it the it factor, but I don't even know. There's just something about Mitch Trubisky that, you know what? He must just have a personality. He looks like he might be an Eddie Haskell kind of guy. Hey, Mrs. Cleaver, you want to take off your clothes? No, they give him a 2-year deal. Think about who that guy or girl was in your high school or your college or even in grade school. You know, hey, you wanted to sit. I wanted to sit next to Roxanne Renner. Don't know why. I just knew, hey, look, Roxanne Renner was cool. She was cool. So Mitchell Trubisky is getting another extension. There are certain guys, you know, everybody talks about July 1st and Bobby Bonilla making money. They're just certain guys that make so much damn money, and they get maligned, right? Like Mitchell Trubisky is maligned. Justin Herbert hasn't done a thing, but he's considered great. Oh, Justin Herbert's going to do great things. Mitchell Trubisky sucks, blah, blah, blah. Teams just want the dude around. It's one of the most – why am I talking about this? Because it's one of the most fascinating things in sports. It's just fascinating to me how a guy like Trubisky, who, let's be honest, overdrafted, you know, he's the guy they took before Mahomes. He's the guy they took before Watson. He's the guy – but he just keeps hanging on to teams. It's not like he's incredibly talented. But when I saw this, I thought to myself, that's our kind of guy here on Don't At Me. Look at this. There's nothing much going on with this. What do we got with this? But we're that kind of guy. People want to hang out. I get 10 phone calls a day from people just wanting to hang out because I'm a good time. You got to be a good time. I don't know about that. Yesterday, a huge thanks to Riley Gage. You know, yesterday and the day before, whatever day it was, we had Ennis Cantor on. Isn't it amazing how, well, our little show here, because of you all on YouTube, our little show here gets picked up by the national media, probably more than any show of our ilk. No, seriously, probably more than any other show. Like Ennis Cantor and him coming on saying, hey, I don't want to hear about Elon Musk. I got picked up by everybody. And yesterday, the greatest thing ever was when Riley Gage talked about, hey, look, Katie Porter. By the way, Katie Porter, I guarantee you she didn't run from anybody. I'm not going to say anymore. But how disgusting is she? She talks trash about our girl Riley Gaines. And then when Riley Gaines goes to see her, wants to have a face-to-face as a 22-year-old, this person, this congresswoman, doesn't have the satchel to hang in there and discuss. I'm glad the national media picked it up. Now, does it influence anything? Of course it doesn't. Does it make any difference? Of course it does. Because you and I both know what happens is this. And you're seeing it with this whole Durham report. We'll just ignore it. Nobody will press us on it. That's why I love this show. And that's why I love all of you for being with us every single day. Because this show somehow, some way makes news. I mean, I would argue that you take out Aaron Rodgers from McAfee, and you can't do that because Pat's great. Our show makes more news than his. Our show's like every day. Last thing. Stop with the Pat McAfee isn't going to make it on ESPN. Just stop with it. Stop. Pat McAfee's show is a breath of fresh air in the morning where I got to sit there and listen to Greeny, and I got to listen to all these slaps, and then I got to listen to two guys yell, and now you got McAfee. That's if you watch ESPN. I like watching Carton, personally, on Fox FS1. But don't even think that Pat McAfee show, and Pat had to address it yesterday. Pat had to address, he didn't realize his fans were that upset. They think he's going to get sanitized. They think he's not going to be able to be Pat McAfee. I will guarantee you that Pat will be Pat. Now, again, as I said yesterday, his show is fun. His show is funny. His show is informative. And on the outside, his show is raunchy. You guys all think it's the raunch. No. So I would argue, relax. Pat's going to be fine. Pat is an uber talent. He's second in the city to me in terms of talent, and he'll be great. All right, Armando, I got to get into this. Like, why is Trubisky so loved? Why? Joe Burrow's already looking at a contract. I understand it. I'd give him a lifetime contract if I were the Bengals. I'm sorry, you're going to be here until you're 38 or you get fat. If you get fat, Joe Burrow, we're not having it. Armando, next.
So Jake Bird is a reliever for one of the worst teams in baseball, the Colorado Rockies, who are just horrible. And apparently this middle reliever who was called up for the call up to the big leagues for the first time this year. So he's toiled and worked his butt off. Decided he was going to pull a little old school, going to date myself, Al Hrabosky, and challenge and act like an idiot on the mound because he got an out. He did that against the Phillies. And in doing so, Bryce Harper took exception and went basically to the Rockies bench and said, let's fight. And I love it. I think it's awesome. I love, I don't know. I just love stuff because in baseball, there's a lot of fake tough guys. There's a lot of fake tough guys who talk the game, and then there's the tough guys are actually the guys that don't talk tough for the most part, like Pedro Martinez or Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan never said anything. He just threw 107 and put it in your ribcage if he didn't like you. Pedro would knock you on your ass at the drop of a dime. But I love that. I love guys like that. I love guys that are real and authentic. And Bryce is clearly a leader. And I since the day I met him I think I met him when he was like 12. It seems like his first year in the big leagues. always been a guy who's been vocal, but he plays the game and he's good. And the other stuff is the chromey stuff that's the modern day game and what they love and all the things that go with that. But the guy plays hurt, plays as hard as he can. And I think he gives it everything. And I loved it. I thought it was a great thing. I thought it was a good thing for the Phillies, who need a little kick in the ass. And then there was he got ejected. Bird got ejected. Rockies won the game 4-0 to avoid a sweep. But none of that stuff matters. That's kind of the thing that you I don't know about rally around, but it just cements the guy's.
I am here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We are getting ready. Harvard taking on Arkansas in the NCAA softball tournament. And Dave Carroll, my friend, asked me, is this a superstitious shirt? No, it's not. This is my superstitious shirt. We are absolutely undefeated at Harvard softball when I wear this Indiana Hoosier shirt. It was hot as blazes the other day in Princeton, and I had that shirt in my car in case. I don't have a Harvard T-shirt. And we won 3 in a row. We won the Ivy League. So I am wearing that shirt. I have not washed it. It smells like 10 miles of bad road. And that's what I'm doing. That's my superstition. There you go. All right, Armando, with the best background ever, joining us. All right, I told you off air. I don't know, man. It seems to me like 10 minutes ago, Joe Burrow was leading LSU and Ed Orgeron was our hero. Now all of a sudden he's getting a contract extension. I would give freaking Joe Burrow. I'd say, Joe, you got a contract extension until you're 38 years old, or unless you get fat. One of the two. Give it to him.
Well, that's probably what the Cincinnati Bengals are on the road to doing. It's not so much that they're going to do it until he's 38 years old, but it's gonna be a nice, hot, tidy sum. It's going to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. It's going to keep him a Cincinnati Bengal until his arm falls off, which might be a while. And if you listen to him and believe him, it's going to help the Bengals keep their core stars, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, guys like that, on the roster.
What kind of money is he looking at?
Well, right now, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL is Lamar Jackson, Dan, and he's at, I believe, $52 million. So any number north of $52 million a year, that will be Joe Burrow. And oh, by the way, he's not the only one that's going to get an extension this offseason. Justin Herbert also is in line for an extension. And I would say to you that Patrick Mahomes, later on this offseason, will get an extension on his extension. So there's going to be work and many millions of dollars being bandied about.
You know, I don't mind paying any of them. You don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How soon till we see $100 million a year?
It's going to have to be for a quarterback. That would be the first. When I started covering the NFL, Dan, years ago, the salary cap was $34.6 million. $34.6 million. It's now at over $200 million. So, you know, it's going to be a while, but it is going to get there. I have no doubt of that. We might be into different kind of currencies by the time we get there.
Right. don't know what that currency is going to be, but or it might be when Patrick Mahomes gets a damn extension. It might be next week. I'm paying Patrick Mahomes whatever the hell he wants, Armando.
Bro, I'm just happy those guys want to get paid in dollars and not in like Chinese yuans or something like that, or crypto or gold or something.
I'm so with you. Like, hey, don't pay. Well, who's the guy? One of the NFL guys took his money in crypto. That didn't end up so well. Just take the dollars and hope it doesn't tank if you're an NFL quarterback, right?
Absolutely. And look, what's interesting is we're only judging quarterbacks here, right? Because every other position falls behind those guys. So the quarterbacks, when they come up for new contracts, everybody kind of their ears perk up and their eyes open up a little wider because it's a lot of money, and it will be a lot of money. Again, I hearken back to the Joe Burrow talking about wanting to get paid in such a way and a form that he helps the Bengals keep his core guys. That was so impressive to me. That was so mature by him, because he realizes that it's not just all about him. He realizes he's not one of these guys that walks around thinking, wherever I play, we're going to win. No, he understands that football is a team sport, and he's a 4,000-yard passer. But if he loses his 1,000-yard receiver in Jamar Chase and his other 1,000-yard receiver in T. Higgins, he's not a 4,000-yard passer anymore.
That's the Tom Brady method, is it not? I mean, Brady kind of did that, did he not, for most of his career?
Yeah. Brady often took deals that were below market. He did that later in his career. And, after he had a couple of Super Bowls, because he had by that time gained the Tom Brady aura, where he could call guys on, other teams or in free agency. I shouldn't say on other teams, because that would be tampering, but in free agency and ask them to come to the Patriots or the Buccaneers, and they would. Burrow is reaching that, that plateau. He doesn't have to, because he's got good guys already. Patrick Mahomes obviously is at that plateau. Justin Herbert isn't quite there yet, but soon.
Is Joe Burrow the guy that people want to play with? It feels like Joe Burrow is like a Seinfeld. He's like Jerry. He's like the guy everybody kind of wants to be around. Not every quarterback is like that. He feels like that guy to me. I could be wrong.
I think when all is said and done, look, I know that everybody loves Josh Allen and everybody loves Patrick Mahomes and everybody loves Justin Herbert and everybody loves their quarterback. If you ask me to pick a quarterback that is going to challenge Mahomes as the best quarterback in the NFL for the next, 10 years, I would pick Joe Burrow. And the reason I would do that is I just think the way he sees the field, it's just otherworldly. One of the coaches that played against him called him an assassin. When a coach from another team calls you an assassin, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
No.
And he does it in traditional quarterback fashion, in that he's not running around. He's not, getting out of the pocket. He sees the field so quickly, so well, that he finds holes every single pass. Obviously, doesn't complete every single pass, but he knows he has a plan whenever the ball is snapped.
Did Lamar Jackson, I don't think I asked you this, did Lamar Jackson show you don't need an agent? And do you think others will follow suit with that?
Lamar Jackson saved himself $7.8 million by not having an agent. So that's the argument ender right there. You know, when I was growing up in high school, we had this thing called argument enders. You know, when you're like going back and forth with a friend or a frenemy, or you're at a bar and you're, talking about a topic. If you have the one factoid, the one sentence that, basically covers everything and you can't retort, that's an argument ender right there. And the argument ender for Lamar Jackson is, I didn't have a agent. It took a while. There were some moments of distress. I had to ask for a trade, but I saved myself $7.8 million, and I am still the highest paid quarterback on an annual basis in the NFL. Argue that. You can't. What's the counter to that?
The argument ender of all time is Lloyd Benson looking at Dan Quayle and saying, I knew John F. Kennedy. I worked with John F. Kennedy. And you, sir, are no John F. Kennedy. That's the all-time argument ender during a debate back in the 80s. But I got to tell you, you're exactly right. You cannot argue with that. Look, I think agents do a great job getting deals, doing all this stuff that players don't want to do. But in straight contract negotiations, it seems like to me, Armando, that Joe Burrow knows the range that he can get to. That's what it seems to me. He got to be able to understand with a smart lawyer, this is my range. This is what I can get to, right? I mean, it's almost, I'm not saying quarterbacks are now slotted, but it feels like they're kind of slotted. Next man up's going to get this, no?
Yeah, next man up is going to get $1 million a year more, likely, until you. That's what I think will apply to Justin Herbert. But honestly, Patrick Mahomes is a different cat altogether. And I think Joe Burrow might be, except for the fact that he's willing to take, I'm not going to say he's willing to take less, but he's willing to take it in a certain manner that keeps his team together, his team core together. If Joe Burrow was playing for a rich ball club, the Cincinnati Bengals, as you know, are not that. The sky's the limit. He could be a $60 million a year guy.
What is this? What is this accelerator program that the NFL is starting? A lot of guys in it, none white. You wrote on it.
Yeah. So the NFL obviously wants more what they call diverse coaches and diverse general managers. By diverse, they basically mean minorities. Okay. That's their new word for minority and Black. And so they have a program where 30, 40 people come in and mingle with ownership. The people who own NFL teams, who almost universally are white. And they get to know each other. They have sessions together. There's also sessions with other people. They've got CEOs. They bring in an agent. They bring in business people to help them understand what they should be talking about, how they should be presenting themselves, so that they are better known to ownership. It's the NFL inclusion program, but as you mentioned and as I wrote, the NFL inclusion program excludes white males. So you can come in and meet the owners if you're not known to them and you're an up and comer. But if you're white and you're not known to them and you're an up and comer, sorry, you can't participate. And I just find that a little off-putting, because I don't know of any other class that would be okay with. It's 2023, and if I were running the show, we would get the 60 best up-and-comers, regardless of race, creed, national origin, religion, sex, and put them in a room and let them become known to ownership and let natural sociology take over, not social engineering.
College basketball has this. It's called the Villa Conferences, and that's exactly what they do. What you said, they figure out, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, assistant coaches that are up-and-comers, and they invite them to do the same thing, meet business leaders, and it's not necessarily all black, white. It's just, hey, look, these are guys we've identified at programs that we think are worthwhile. Yeah, I don't, as a white male in the United States, I don't have anything to complain about. I mean, let's be honest. If I sat here and complained, I've had every advantage. I understand that, but it is kind of tough. My son's in coaching, and it is kind of tough to look at this blatant racism and say that's okay. Just seems like we're going backwards.
Well, as a non-white male, I have nothing to complain about. Look, I competed. I know in my heart of hearts that I was different than a lot of the people that were trying for the same jobs that I got. I don't believe that I ever got an advantage over them because of where I come from or what nationality I am or what color I am. I had an advantage over them because I was better than them. And that's what that's where I planted my flag. And sometimes I didn't win. Sometimes I lost, but I lost because they were better than me. In someone else's opinion, obviously, not in my mother's opinion. In my mother's opinion,
of course not.
Everybody, you got to understand that. Also, my wife sometimes. So I am confident that I am where I am based on who I am, not what social group, what nationality, what race, what religion I am. So I don't know. I just think that's how it should be run. And I have a hard time people convincing me otherwise. There are outstanding black, brown coaches out there that when they get hired and should be hired based on them being better and a better candidate than the other guy, not based on them being black, brown, or something else.
I had a Congressman, Burgess Owens, tell me something that's interesting. He played in the NFL. He's a great dude. He said, the NFL, why is the NFL expanding worldwide? He said the NFL has basically tapped out every dollar they can get in the United States, and they're moving forward. I'm going to ask you something that really doesn't have an answer, and it doesn't matter the answer. Do you think the NFL is making a mistake, not in terms of money, they're going to make money, but in terms of interest in their core area, the United States, by expanding not only from London to Germany, and I'm guessing other places? Do you think ultimately that's a mistake?
That's a great question. The NFL within 10 years is going to have another division. They're working towards the Europe division, and they'll have a couple of teams in London. They'll have a team in Germany, maybe 2 teams in Germany, and it's going to happen. And I assume that, despite the fact that those teams are playing in London and in Germany, the rosters will be American because we just play better than them. They're not there yet. With very rare exceptions, Americans play American football better than the rest of the world. And the NFL is going to do this because London is a great market. It's borderline the world capital of finance. Germany is crazy in love with American football, and they're going to do. You can't put a team in San Antonio and say that they're going to have the same footprint financially as the London, Crowns or something like that. It's just not a fair comparison. And the NFL, in that regard, is going to run a meritocracy, and the biggest financial market is going to win.
I want to get to Davante Adams. Davante Adams comes over and he says he's not seeing the vision for the Raiders. What? They got Jimmy G. All Jimmy G does is win. Go catch a bunch of passes, Davante. Come on.
All Jimmy G does is win until he breaks something and or something, strains, or something falls off, and then all of a sudden Jimmy G is watching from the sideline, looking all Jimmy G dapper and them, but not helping you win. And I think that everyone in the NFL recognizes that Jimmy G is, or has been, his history has been, he's going to be fine while he's playing, but the problem is he's not going to be playing for long.
Antonio Brown won't go away. Now he's going to play for the team that he's stiffing, apparently, as an owner in Albany. Is this an audition? Should I be begging for Antonio Brown to come to the Colts this year?
No. No. I mean, look, one of the things in sports that smart people recognize is people are who they tell you that they are. And Antonio Brown has told us all in recent years that he will blow up a locker room, backstab a friend who's trying to help him. He did that to Tom Brady. Not be the guy that you can depend on, so not dependable, and really be all about himself. If that's the kind of person the Indianapolis Colts want, then more power to them. But with Anthony Richardson as their up-and-coming quarterback, you don't want to put a new quarterback and a young quarterback through that experience.
All right, let me take as a broader view. Do you think that it is an audition for everybody, anybody else, anybody that doesn't care about Anthony Richardson, that kind of thing?
I think the NFL is done with Antonio Brown.
I do too.
I think the NFL been there, done that. One thing I got to say is Mike Tomlin is an angel, having been able to deal with Antonio Brown for years and years and years. And nobody knew that Antonio Brown was a problem because Mike Tomlin dealt with it in a manner that kept it from being a public problem. But as soon as he left Mike Tomlin, we understand who Antonio Brown really is. And I feel bad because Antonio Brown is from South Florida. I'm from South Florida. I wish it was different, but the dude, he's got problems. He's troubled.
Yeah. And his talent no longer outweighs the problem. Armando, have a wonderful weekend, my friend. Keep writing.
Thank you, Dan.
That's our friend Armando Segura. And, you can play in the NFL. You can play a lot of different places if your problems don't outweigh your talent. But when your talent outweighs your problem, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like all of a sudden you're a pain. I remember hearing that at ESPN. I always wanted to be a player. True story. I always wanted to be a player that people said, well, he's so talented, but he's undisciplined. I always wanted to be that as a player, just so talented. I think I became that as a broadcaster. Oh, Dakich is really good, but my God, we can't have him. He's too much. There'll be too much articles. I don't know. A lot of people think Vontez Burfict on the YouTube chat broke Antonio Brown's brain. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know this. His brain has gotten broken. You got to you got to subscribe to the YouTube chat. Let's go. Get on the YouTube chat, like and subscribe. We're only at about 47. We need much more than that. All right. Mark Zeno's going to join us. Love talking to Zeno. Zeno will bring it. Hey, did you guys check this out? Do you remember when our boy Ryan Burr came on the other day. What did Ryan Burr say? He said, take Adam Scott. Take Adam Scott. Adam Scott to finish in the top 10 was 65 to 1, meaning you bet $100. No, that's not true. Yeah, you bet $100, you get 650 back. That's what I did. Adam Scott currently second behind a newly slimmed down Bryson DeChambeau, who is sitting there at 4 under. My guy, Adam Scott, is sitting there at 3 under, -1 for the day at the PGA. That's right. So don't at me about this, people. All right, we'll be right back. Zeno's going to join us, and I cannot wait. DeChambeau, by the way, if you get it, he's a skinny dude. I don't mind it. I don't know. Great experiment is over. We'll be right back.
Daniel Penny, the former Marine who stepped in to restrain the violent vagrant Jordan Neely, is now looking down the barrel of 15 years behind bars for manslaughter. He was arraigned last week, put in cuffs, and made to do a humiliating perp walk, though he turned himself in, though he's been cooperated through the whole process, though what he did was in the defense of others. But Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg doesn't care. He's not a guardian of the law. He's an activist installed in his position by George Soros. Nothing more, nothing less. He doesn't make moves based on law. He makes moves based on the mob, and once again, the mob wins. And Jordan Neely's family, well, they hope to turn his death into dollar signs. Jordan Neely was a vagrant living on the streets. Where was his family then? Now they care? Convenient, that's real convenient. Neely has been struggling for years, has been mentally ill for years, and violent for years, and this time, it caught up to him. Did he deserve to die? No. But are subway passengers and good and decent people supposed to give a mentally ill man spouting death threats the benefit of the doubt? Should Daniel Penny have sat his happy ass down and waited for Neely to punch an elderly woman again or kidnap a child again? If Bragg did his job, New York City residents wouldn't be put in this situation in the first place. But Bragg is sending a message loud and clear. Do not mess with his mayhem. Do not question the lawless hellhole he's created. Do not be bold and do not be brave. Let it happen. Let the country go to hell and let innocent people pay the price. These liberals want men to devolve into purse-holding cowards. They want you all emasculated and neutered because real men are the last remaining barrier these communists must eliminate in their quest to destroy everything around us. Well, Daniel Penny did something. He stood up, he acted. So I stand with Daniel Penny and every other man who has the fortitude and the character to protect and defend the vulnerable. In a world full of cowards, be a Daniel Penny.
You know, I have to apologize to my next guest and really to every guest because, well, frankly, I'm disrespecting the show wearing this, but Mark Zeno joins us. Mark, I am in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I was going to say North Carolina. My wife and I drove yesterday. Harvard, where my stepdaughter plays third base, is in the NCAA tournament against Arkansas in a round robin of 14. So I am supporting. And you know what? I apologize for the lack of professionalism. I'm in, looks like I'm in a Motel 6, but I'm not. They don't have plastic sheets. Everything's good. So I must apologize for the look, but hey, you got to support, right?
Listen, anytime you're going out to support the smart kids over at Harvard, you do what you do. You do what you need to do to get by. So good luck to your stepdaughter and good luck to Harvard.
Yeah, one of the things about Harvard is when I walk the campus, it makes me feel smarter. Like they wouldn't, so I feel good. All right, you are an expert. You are a genius. You are the man. You are on PixWise, Sports Grind TVs, Visten. You're everywhere. You said to me off air on this PGA Championship that you're taking LIV golfers, including Koepka. Tell me why.
Look, I am somebody who has not given a rip about LIV Golf and where they get their money from. I think it is the biggest, shouting at the rain thing in the world. Like the idea that we're taking money from Saudi Arabia to form LIV Golf and people are upset about this is laughable. In case you haven't noticed, the United States has been in business with Saudi Arabia since September 12th, 2001. Like we've never stopped being in business with them. So the money does not bother me. And every single person in America, if offered more money to do less work, would 100% say yes. We all would agree to that. So there is no issue with the LIV golfers. And I am actually pulling for all the LIV golfers. I was pulling for Brooks Koepka in the Masters. Why? Because people always ask, well, what's going to make this tournament fun? What's going to make this tournament interesting on Sunday? Like, what do we need? And everyone's like, well, we need big names. You know what we need? We need a LIV golfer or two LIV golfers to be in the top 5 chasing. Why? Because so many people are rooting for these guys to lose. They are the villain, and I am rooting for them to win. I hope that a LIV golfer puts it out on 18. They tap dance all over the green. They celebrate together. They dump beer on each other. Happy Gilmore comes in, starts punching people in the stands. Like, that's all I want. I want Brooks Koepka to win the PGA Championship, and then him and his wife Instagram themselves naked for the next month, celebrating all over the place. Like, that's all I want from golf these days, is for LIV to come out on top, because I think it's great to have a villain. It's great for ratings. It's great for entertainment. That's what this is all about, man.
Brooks Koepka, a very handsome man. You are as well, but I want to see Jenna Sims more so than I want to see Koepka in the naked video. Maybe that's misogynist. I don't know, but that's my view of the world.
Our preferences, yeah. I get it. It's totally fair.
When you look at golf, do you think this will, people always say, well, you're playing on the LIV Tour, so you're not getting real competition. The tour is real. I don't know. I watch the LIV Tour event. It looked real to me. I know they're wearing shorts. It's different. And the Masters showed that, hey, screw that. LIV golfers are ready for majors. Cam Smith's ready. Koepka's ready. These guys may not win, but they're ready. I mean, that's all crap to me.
It's 100% crap. I mean, look, the bottom line is this. LIV Golf is no different, okay, than OutKick, then Barstool, then Uber. Like, there is another faction that comes along and disrupts what we normally do and what we normally know. And there's an old guard of people who are just unwilling to change, and they're unwilling to adapt and look at something different for what it is, right? I mean, taxis aren't a thing anymore. We all take Uber. We all take Lyft. Why? Because a better system came along. Is LIV a better system than the PGA? I don't know. But what I do know is that people are buying into it. And if the biggest names are buying into it, it deserves some credence from everybody.
Let's talk about your bets in particular. You talked about Koepka. What are you going with?
I had Koepka in top 20. I had Cam Smith top 10. I looked at all the long hitters. Oak Hill is an extremely long course. You're going to see a whole bunch of 240-yard par threes. You're going to see a couple of 500 par fours. You need to be able to hit the ball. And look at Bryson DeChambeau. Like, the reason he was at the top of the leaderboard after round 1, kept the ball in the fairway. Like, if he can do that over the course of the next 3 rounds, he's going to be in this thing. He's going to be really tough to beat just because he's got such an advantage. When you can pop 320 off with your eyes closed from the tee, it's like, okay, yeah, I have a distinct advantage over everybody else out on the course. So all the long hitters are the guys I think you got to favor. Now that the weather is warmed up and we're not dealing with frost for the rest of the weekend, I think that, obviously, once the conditions start to get a little bit better, the ball will travel a little bit farther. You're going to have a huge advantage for the long hitters.
You took Koepka top 10. Did you take Cam Smith, another who is really good, LIV golfer? What other guys?
He was also top 10. I didn't have Bryson anywhere on my card. I couldn't not take Scotty Scheffler. He's just like an auto fire in the top 10 for me because he's so consistent and he's so good. I faded Rory, didn't touch him. And I just look for the guys that I like. I almost fired on Jordan Spieth because he's had such a good track record at the PGA, but he just, here's what I'm going to do with Jordan Spieth, because this is what we end up seeing. He'll struggle through the first 2 rounds. Guess what? Saturday and Sunday, he's going to go off. So I'll wait for a match play to come out and take Jordan Spieth match whoever he's matched up against and play him, because typically on Saturday and Sunday of these majors is when Jordan just plays his best golf.
I don't buy Jordan Spieth late in rounds anymore. Like, if he's in the last 3 groups on Sunday, I don't buy him. He may backdoor his way into something, but I used to buy him, but I don't know what happened here. I'm not buying Spieth late.
No, and I agree with you from the standpoint of taking him for the whole tournament is tough sometimes because, again, he doesn't always start fast. And if he does start fast, what we have seen, after he won his round of majors a couple of times, he sort of tailed off and folded later on in tournaments towards the end. So I do like him, though, to, like you said, backdoor this thing into a top 10 or that situation similar to what we saw at the Masters, where on Saturday and Sunday he just had 2 back-to-back awesome rounds and put himself somewhat in contention, all things considered, even though it was really a 2-horse race. But again, I like Jordan match play on Saturday and Sunday, depending on who he's paired up with.
Lakers down 2-0. People in a panic. LeBron looks tired. Anthony Davis can't play. Blah, 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 blah. I always say this. Let's be honest. You're supposed to win at home. Now, the Lakers got to go win at home. Yeah, there's a little heat on them. What are you thinking with the Lakers-Nuggets series?
I will look to the first half in Game 3. Lakers minus the points in the first half. There is a significant trend here, Dan, that when teams are down 0-2, how they respond in Game 3. I mean, if the Lakers can't come out and start fast on their home floor and really set the tone early, and you let Jokic and company hang around with the way Jamal Murray has played over the last 2 games, that's a recipe for disaster. If the Lakers hope to steal or win in Game 3, I should say, not steal it, win Game 3, they're going to need to start fast. I expect them to be up at half. Once we get a number set at the halftime line, I'll be a little bit more comfortable with it. But I definitely look at the Lakers minus the points in the first half in Game 3.
I argue the Nuggets are a likable team. I don't know why. They just seem likable.
Listen, I have a future on them. I took it back in sometime before the end of the regular season at 9-1 to win the whole title. So I am desperately hoping they at least get to the finals, so it puts me in a hedge situation at some point. But, this is a Denver team that is as complete as any team in the league. I know their defense hasn't looked great. It didn't look great in Game 1, but you saw them clamp down in Game 2, especially late in the game. I think their defense is underrated, especially at home. They're going to need to show up big time in Game 3 if they want to win this thing. But I don't expect it to be a very high-scoring affair between these two teams in Game 3. I think the Lakers' defense will show back up, especially with Denver going on the road, and Denver should do enough to limit the Lakers under about 110 points.
Hey, the Heat showed, wait a second here, in Boston, in the Garden. In the Garden, they went in and got Boston. Is this real? Is this just the start of a 7-game great series?
I mean, Dan, there are certain things in life that I can't figure out. A Rubik's Cube, quantum physics, my ex-wife. Like, there are things that I just don't have answers to in life. And the Miami Heat in this postseason is on that list. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. This is a team that averaged 104 points during the regular season, worse than the league. They're averaging 110 in the postseason. They shot NBA bottom 5, 34% from 3, shooting 38% from 3 in the playoffs. I don't have an answer. All I can do is look at what I've seen from this Heat team so far and go, this is who they are in the postseason. Now, that said, in the game tonight, here's the angle I'm playing. I don't want to lay 9 with Boston. It's not a comfortable number. Miami's lost 3 games this postseason by 12, 9, and 6. They don't get blown out often. So I'm not comfortable going there. But if you look at these two teams and the way things have gone for them, Boston has always started fast. They started fast in every game this postseason. If you look at the first half, they've scored at least 57 points in the first half in 10 of their 14 postseason games and only scored less than 50 just once. The Heat have managed to score at least 54 points in the first half in 8 of their 12 postseason games. So these two teams combined for 123 in the first half of Game 1, even with a little regression. I think we get over a first half total of 110.5. And even if Miami does start bad, Boston has the ability to score 60 in a heartbeat in the first half. Give me over 110.5 in the first half between Miami and Boston tonight.
Side question, you're a man's man. They asked you at Adidas, hey, we want you to model women's swimwear. Are you putting on the one piece?
Are you paying me a considerable amount of money? I mean, I can act a fool for the right price. That's really what it boils down to. Look, I dress in women's clothing on Halloween. I dress in women's clothing, if I'm asked to in a certain situation where there is money involved. But no, I don't need to wear a woman's bathing suit ever. I'm Italian, so there's a lot of hair. And, it would kind of look a little bit weird for most people if, there's hair coming out of parts of bathing suits that hair is not supposed to be coming out of. It's not a comfortable situation for anybody, Dan. Well, I think we're all best left, to me, just in a nice pair of board shorts in the right coverage for the male parts.
I always tell my wife and others, look, I'm Eastern European. I don't need Viagra. I don't need it. I don't.
I can't run from genetics, Dan. I can't run from genetics. I am what I am.
That's right. That's it. Yeah, look. And don't try to make us run from our genetics. We're proud of our genetics. He's proud of his hair. I'm proud of my no use for the little blue pill. There you go, people. If you don't like it, I don't care. It's the internet. We can say what we want. Screw you. Anyway, hey, the Preakness. I need to make some money on the Preakness. Make me some money, big boy.
All right. So here's what you need to look at with the Preakness. It's the shortest of the 3 Triple Crown races here. And Mage is obviously going to be the favorite. And you can't really bet the favorite per se, other than in a box exacta where you're hoping to find the second horse that goes with it. There are 2 horses that I'm looking at in this race. And the reasoning why they're long shots is because they are horses that generally come from behind late. They're closers. I like closer horses. Red Route 1 at 10-1 and Perform at 15-1. Both of these horses are horses that have had track records of winning, and they are horses that like to run late and come from behind. People are worried about that with the shorter track here in the Preakness. I'm not. I have to trust the jockey, and I'm hopeful that we get a fast start and a fast pace in the Preakness. If they get out fast, these horses will be benefited by their ability to close late. It's just a matter of the jockey knowing when the horse has to hit the nitro button and when the horse has got the giddy up and go to it. And if they do that right, they can pace themselves at the back of the field. And then boom, once we get to the top of the turn, they'll take off. So Red Route 1 and Perform are the 2 horses that I'm looking to pair with Mage in a box exacta somewhere. I think both of these horses can win the thing outright, to be honest with you.
I don't believe the favorite's going to win this. I know, okay, you won the Derby and that's great, but I'm with you. I love a closer. Like, look, sometimes they get boxed in. Sometimes, you need a little more track. I get it. But when you take a closer like what you're talking about, in the back of your mind as you're watching the race, you feel like no matter what, you got a shot here, a real shot. As long as the horse has to have a certain pedigree to get all that. But you always feel like you got a shot when you got a closer in a horse race.
100%. And again, it's the jockey that's so critical in understanding positioning and where they are and what they need to do. Now, you can watch both of these horses too, that when they get to the top of the stretch in the final turn, they may push them out wide to make them feel like they have to run farther. And that will give them a little bit more, giddy up and go that they need to get this thing. So I think it's all about positioning and where they are. I think both of these horses will lay back early, let the pace setters go, and it's about the right time to move. And if they do it, I think they can close and steal this thing.
Last thing before I let you go, Mark, who is the NBA Finals? Who plays in the NBA Finals?
Would a Nuggets Heat final be like something that, the world would watch? Probably not, but I can't step in front of Miami right now and say they're going to lose, but I'm 100% thinking the Nuggets are the better team than the Lakers. They just are. And I think they're going to prove that over the course of the series, especially with home court advantage and the way they're able to get on top of this thing. It may go 7 games and Denver may win at home, but I like Denver to get in from the West, and I'm not stopping the Miami Heat train. That's for sure. The heat is on.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Looks like we froze here. What do we got, Dylan? I think we froze. All right, Mark, I'm going to let you go because apparently we froze. Thank you so much for everything. Great stuff, as always. This is what Mark does. Mark Zeno. Follow him on Twitter. Hey, you see it right there, at Mark ZINNO. Look, it's Friday. I'm on the road. I stay at hotels where they have plastic sheets, for crying out loud. I mean, are you kidding me? So here we sit, but no, not really. We're at a Hyatt place, I think. And you know what? Something else that's really interesting. Bentonville, Arkansas is the home of Walmart. Bentonville, Arkansas is like the cleanest place ever. Like everything looks brand new. I mean, the Walmart folks, well, they put a bunch of money apparently into their town. And look, a lot of you West Virginia fans and you Sparty fans lost your mind on me last week. So we're going to, in about 10 minutes, play some mean tweets from you. You're going to make me cry. Don't make me cry. I don't want to cry. All right, let's go back to the NBA playoffs last night. I told you something that was wrong, and I will admit being wrong. I told you to take LeBron James. Yeah. Well, LeBron James didn't show last night. I told you whatever the number is, you got to take a serious look because I felt like he was going to bounce back and do one of those deals where, you know what, he's just kicking everybody's ass. Well, guess what? He didn't kick anybody's anything last night. He's missed 19 threes in a row. Now, I don't care because it's only 2-0. I understand that you got to win 4. And I've always said this. It's easy to beat, not easy, but it's one thing to beat LeBron James on a Saturday in the NBA season or on a Wednesday in July, or June, January, whatever the hell it is, in an NBA season. You know, teams can do that. You can do that, okay? But beating them 4 times in 2 weeks, look, you beat him twice. You beat LeBron James twice. You beat LeBron James twice. Yay, Rock, go fight, win. You beat him twice. You got to beat him 4 times. You got to beat him at some point. You're going to probably have to beat him in L.A. Now, I'm not saying you may – yeah, I am saying you may lose at home. I mean, I'd say you're going to lose at home. But the fact of the matter is, if you are the Nuggets and national TV members, just stop with the series is over. Hey, can we call up the video that we had from Coach Malone of the Denver Nuggets that we showed earlier? If we could play that, that'd be great, because I want you to know this is what happens in the NBA, the disrespect card. Coaches are always scrambling. We're playing the disrespect card. The officials aren't calling it a certain way. They are always fighting to get a little bit of edge. Here is Mike Malone after the game last night about his team.
A lot of our guys, to be honest, they may not admit this or not. You know, you win game 1 of the playoffs, and all everybody talked about was the Lakers. Let's be honest, that was a national narrative was, hey, the Lakers are fine. They're down 1-0, but they figured something out. No one talked about Nikola just had a historic performance. He's got 13 triple-doubles now, 3rd all-time. What he's doing is just incredible, but the narrative wasn't about the Nuggets. The narrative wasn't about Nikola. The narrative is about the Lakers and their adjustments. So, you know, you put that in your pipe, you smoke it, and you come back, and you know what? We're going to go up 2-0.
I'm going to go to the YouTube chat. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. What are some other, like, I don't know, old man, old school sayings? Hey, you put that in your pipe and smoke it. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. What? Lee said, or I said that to Lee the other day. What? And she goes, well, what does that mean? 6 of one, half dozen of the other. So Tegan was in the car and she looked at her mother and she said, it means similar. I'm like, yeah, hey, put that in your pipe and smoke it. So if you have any old school sayings, well, you know, 6 of it, put one to the other. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. No. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. You know. There's a bunch of these that are old school. Don't sell me a dog. Now, my grandmother used to say, don't sell me a dog. What the hell? You know, the other one is, I got swampland for you. Yeah, if you believe that, I got swampland, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. Don't sell me a dog was one of them back in the day. It's like, what? The one that always scared me was, don't make me get the switch, Daniel. That switch scared me. That switch meant some serious stuff. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, get off my lawn is an old school saying that Mrs. Radovich used to get mad at us when we hit a baseball into. But put that in your pipe and smoke it, because that dude right there, Nikola Jokic, if, again, I'm going to go to this because I feel like I have to preface it every time I talk about the NBA. But if you don't like the NBA, give it another shot. Give it another shot. Hey, Nikola Jokic is not all hat, no cattle. That's another one. He's all hat, no cattle. Nikola Jokic is all cattle, no hat. Nikola Jokic is out there just kicking the crap out of Anthony Davis. And remember, before the series, Anthony Davis, I said it, was the defensive stalwart. He was the guy that really guarded in the previous series. He was the guy that just was going to D up Nikola Jokic. All Nikola Jokic has done is my Serbian brother has made Anthony Davis look like, I don't know, like a little kid. Like, what's he getting done? He's not getting anything done. Not doing nothing. Hey, Dan, Brad Buffington says the sun don't shine on the same dog's ass yet twice. Yeah. If a cat ferreted a pair of kitten britches, how many pair would he want? If ifs and buts for raisins and nuts, every day would be Christmas. A lot of you guys were bad people. Your father, wait till your father gets home. Wait till your father gets home. But anyway, so, those two on the right aren't doing squat. My Serbian brother is doing everything. And oh, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but I got to give this a couple of minutes. I got to tell you, I'm not sure that there is anything worse than that idiotic pregame show on ESPN. It is so ridiculous, so unwatchable, so unlikable. Again, you've got Stephen A. Smith and Mike Wilbon, who have no real basketball chops. Like, compare them to Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaq. Mike Greenberg's fine, but Mike Greenberg's always the most proper, trying to be the smartest guy in the room and not screw anything up. Ernie Johnson sits back and let everybody go. Jalen Rose is the worst teammate at ESPN. He is awful on a set. He might be a nice guy off. I think I met him once. I can't remember. But the truth of the matter is that show is awful. And frankly, they've never gotten it right. When they got rid of Sage Steele and her calming influence on it, they did not figure it out. 10 years they've been awful. 10 years they've had Jalen Rose. 10 years they've tried to shift it around. 10 years they have gone more towards diversity. Don't believe for a second the ESPN motto of serving the sports fan everywhere, every day, or whatever it is. They don't serve the sports fan. They serve guys. They serve, let me put it this way. They serve diversity, and they do a damn good job of it. They're terrific. Their diversity is unparalleled. They are the example, ladies and gentlemen, of the diverse hire. They don't hire the best. They hire the most diverse to clear them of any issues that could come from a lack of diversity. It's the great overcorrection, and they've got people on there that are awful. There is no chemistry. There is no dialogue between the two. Smith and Wilbon are trying to show you how smart they are. Rose is trying to show you how woke he is, and Greenberg's just there. And, of course, when they want to really show you, they get Chimmy something, and who knows, Malika Andrews or whatever. Again, more diversity. Nobody that's played in the league, nobody that understands the league, nobody like Tim Legler who can give you real insight into it. It's just god awful. It is. I don't think Jalen Rose seems like a nice guy, and I don't care about his politics. He is awful. When's the last time you saw him laugh with somebody in a relaxed manner on television? When's the last time you saw him doing anything other than posing? You never see it. It doesn't happen. All you get is posing. All you get is a guy trying to be, he's trying to be a 60s activist without any chops for it. So good for them. They are awful. They are ridiculous. And the fact of the matter is nobody else will say it, although I will give awful announcing credit They have said what I have said. The gap between TNT and Charles and Shaq and Ernie and Kenny and these guys is off the picture wide. It's not even close. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. It's juvenile how bad that show is, and it ain't getting any better. It ain't getting any better because, well, let's face it, diversity rules at ESPN. You're not getting that job because of how good you are. You're getting that job because of who you are. They do not subscribe to the Martin Luther King adage of we judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. They don't. I mean, you say whatever you like, but they don't. Yeah. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. You got to be able to laugh on these shows, don't you? I mean, I make fun of myself all the time on it. You got to be able to laugh. You got to be able to interact. You got to be able to have a serious conversation where somebody isn't posing. Charles would get serious. Charles will tell you that JJ Redick is an idiot. Charles will tell you that the people on ESPN are idiots for saying that Ja Morant should not, ladies and gentlemen, face anything from the NBA. We all know, but Jason Whitlock said it. Look, let's be honest. JJ Redick is capping for an NBA coach's job. Name me a white NBA coach that doesn't bend over backwards in every area to kiss the ass of the players. Name me one. You can't. You have to. JJ Redick wanting a coaching job, he's got to say, well, Ja Morant didn't do anything wrong. Because if he says Ja Morant did anything wrong and he gets an NBA coaching job, those guys are going to do what we call underwriting. The great Joby Wright used to tell players, don't underwrite. I don't want to be underwrite. I don't want to be underwrite. So that's what you get. It is a miserable watch. In fact, I watch for a minute so I can comment on it. I watch for about 3-4 minutes, and then I turn the channel because, frankly, it is awful. Awful. Let's see. What? A white man has never judged anyone by Dr. King's creed. Yeah? Well, you're an idiot, Devin. I can't help you, brother. That's how I've lived my entire life. What can I tell you? Devon or Devin, what can I tell you, baby? You do you, man. Of course, a white man has never. No white man in the history of the world, according to this idiot Devon or Devin Goodman, has ever judged anybody by Dr. King's creed. Right. Every white man in the world, none of them have because Devin says so. Man, we got idiots. I love the idiots. I love it. I love the YouTube chat. I do. Devin, you keep coming back, brother. This is funny. Not as funny as the stupidity you just spewed. No white man ever could do that. Ever. Well, I do. I always have. I always will. I judge you by your character, not the color of your skin. Amazing how stupid some people are. Van Pasterman says, anyone who waves a gun is in the wrong unless he's being threatened and uses the waving as a detriment. Exactly. A lot of you are into Salma Hayek and her boobalage spilling out of her bathrobe as she celebrated like 3 bazillion Instagram followers. I'm a big Salma Hayek fan. Ever since she was on 30 Rock, I'm a big Salma Hayek fan. I haven't seen the unedited version, but I ain't going to lie to you. I don't have a lot of alone time, but if I do, All right. West Virginia. I went in on West Virginia and Bob Huggins last week. I did. I went in on Sparty the other day. I said something very simple, right? Caleb Love, the player from North Carolina that decommitted or went from North Carolina to Michigan, he learned. He learned what Michigan State alums, Michigan State students, he learned. What did he learn? He learned it's hard to get into Michigan. Couldn't get in. Michigan State alums, that's why they're alums of Michigan State. They couldn't get into Michigan. That's why they go to Michigan State. They couldn't get into Michigan. And you got pissed. Yeah, you did. You got absolutely pissed. Yeah, you did. And we're going to read the mean tweets next. Hope you're proud of yourself, people, because I went home and cried when I read these me tweets next to end the week.
Welcome into OutKick the show. I am Clay Travis, your fearless leader.
I am going to continue to argue that sports is one of the great unifying forces in all of American life.
ESPN is a sinking ship. Democrats are now the party of the white, woke college graduate.
We live in a land of participation trophies.
You gotta lean into the turns. You really gotta lean into the turns.
When Leah Thomas walked in that first day, it got silent, and every girl was uncomfortable.
Very difficult to go back-to-back years in the NFL with the #1 overall pick.
I've been out of LA long enough to have forgotten that libs, no matter how ridiculous the scenario, are gonna lib. Another week of inflation, another week with Biden with COVID, and another set of losers to crown. People don't watch the WNBA on TV, in person, on a plane, on a train, on a bus, or on purpose.
The scary thing, Tommy, is in the history of this government, I've never seen them give anything back that they've taken.
Oh no, they never do.
And they won't.
We've seen coaches throw water bottles. We've seen coaches act like idiots. We've seen coaches slap other coaches. But I think if you're involved in carjacking, you're inherently a rotten human being. The level of stupid that sometimes gets on our YouTube chat just gives me a headache. You're born a male, play with males. You're born a female, play with females. Don't at me about it, people.
I believe this person is the greatest player anybody alive will ever see. How can you hate Derek Jeter? A guy's on-base percentage tells me his batting eye, and a guy's slugging percentage tells me if he's a threat. That's the kind of guy that throws a no-hitter, that effectively wild guy.
You guys got mad at me, and I'm sad. You guys, as my little sister, when she was really little, used to say about me and my brother, they be mean to me. They be mean to me. Well, you guys were mean to me, and I like it. All right, it's Mean Tweets, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a little background, as I just did. Well, the idea of West Virginia keeping Bob Huggins is fine with me. I legitimately could care less, right? I don't care even a little bit. But the truth of the matter is you got mad at me, and really mad. Now, yesterday, Sparty, you got mad at me. You got mad at everything about me, and I like it. Let's see some mean tweets up here, Dylan. Let me see something. Bring it, people. Nice to see you have a minute between to tweet between DoorDash deliveries. Hey, yeah, you're right. I do. I got a lot of time between DoorDash deliveries. You know what I do with my DoorDash money, and I highly recommend this. If you have a charity, go DoorDash. And by the way, July 10th is our golf outing. We'd love to have you. Go to dandakich.com, and you can sign up or donate. But you damn right I DoorDash. I love DoorDash. I made it a goal to make 25 to 50 bucks a week. I've been on that goal this entire year, and every time I do it, every week, I send the money to Dakich Cycles for the City. That is a Michigan State guy that is proving to be a Michigan State guy. That's right. That's right. What's next? Jeff Green, can I just say that of all the idiots in all the idiot villages in all the idiot worlds, you stand alone, my friend. Well, it's a compliment. You know, you see all those motivational posters, the road less traveled, and, you know, if you want to be something, I don't know. There's all these little motivational, all these motivational posters that are out there that talk about cutting your own path, cut your own swath, be your own man. Well, I'm my own man, apparently, according to this guy. because, well, ladies and gentlemen, I am the biggest of all the idiots in all the idiot villages in all the land. Yeah. I accept that, Sparty. I accept it. I honor it. I love it. I thank you for it, Sparty. Yeah. What's next? This is our friend Larry Cowan, a big fat guy. Larry's a big fat guy that gets mad at me. He's a bit of a stalker. Dakich must be low on Twitter traffic. The only way for him to get attention is to attack a fan base. I see it's Sparty's turn this week. Yes, it is. Sparty never goes south. Larry bet me one time, and I think he cowered. I think that's what I heard. I don't know. That's what somebody told me. Say, yeah, you met this idiot. This guy, I don't want to say he's obsessed, but it seems a little bit dangerous, this guy, Larry Cowan. I mean, this is like every day. Go to his, give him a follow. Little Larry here, he goes like every comment, every tweet is about me. It's a little bit scary if he wasn't such a doughy little soft-ass baby. Dakich must be low on Twitter traffic. The only way for him to get attention is to attack a fan base. I see it's Sparty's turn this week. Well, it might be IU's turn next week. Yeah, I'm not really worried about Twitter traffic. But hey, I will say this. No, you are not able to bet in Arkansas. Carol asked me, no, you're not able to bet DraftKings. So I had to go to something called Betly or something like that. Won $100 last night. I took the Nuggets when they were losing. I saw a picture of Larry. Salad. Oh, man, you're fat shaming. Yeah, what do you want me to do? He's Dakich shaming. In my neighborhood, you didn't cower. In my neighborhood, you came back at him. Don't make me talk about your mama. Anyway, let's go to what's next. Scary Larry. Oh, man, I love it. The worst person. This is the old one. This is from Stacey Evans or whatever the guy's name is. Looks like Evans. Heartbreaking. The worst person you know just made a great point. That's a typical one for me. You know, I get common W's on Twitter. It's like my job. And this is one that I get all the time. Well, the worst person you know made a great point. Yeah, bite me. That guy does look devilish. I look very handsome. I look very fun. I look very regal. And I haven't even showered today. That's right. What's next? Peyton Thorne burger enthusiast. At Deepwater, whatever. Dan, you're as much as an NFL, NBA, college hoops, political insider as I am. Honestly, I've never seen you break a single piece of news. Take all that out of your bio and get a real job. No, I break news every day. No, every day. I mean, you need to follow me. Peyton Thorne burger enthusiast. Peyton Thorne is that god-awful quarterback that plays for that ridiculous coach Mel Tucker at Michigan State. Is anybody more overpaid than Mel Tucker? Mel Tucker makes $9 million a year. No. Nobody knows the NFL, the NBA, college hoops, or politics better than I. We show up every day and we do it. No, I'm sorry, Peyton. What are you going to do today? I'm going to make my bio the Peyton Thorne burger enthusiast. I guarantee you this guy picks his nose, looks around, and eats. I'll just bet you. But no, I got a great job. Nobody needs me to do anything other than continue doing my job, and all will be happy. What else we got? You kidding me? It's good stuff here. Coach, this is a good one. Why don't you worry about how to stop getting fired from every job you've ever had? Well, now he's taking my name and doing stuff that I don't like. That does not seem very nice, Coach. Now, I would ask, I may sue him for slander. I think I'm going to sue him. Can we get lawyers on the phone? Because I have never been fired from a job. Never. In fact, people that have reported me being fired from jobs have had to do the perp walk. That's right, the perp walk. And say, oh, man, we must make a correction, Indy Star. Yeah, that's right. They had to make a correction because they lied. Don't lie. Coach DeFore is an Old Dominion alum. He is 245 pounds of pure sports knowledge. All right, there you go. Okay. So that's the old coach here. Nice. Now I'm suing. Get the lawyers. Call Fox lawyers. We're going to sue Coach DeFore because that is slander. That's libel. One of those two. I don't know. We're suing. That's what we do in the great states, the United States. We sue. And I'm suing because that is false. That is false. That is not accurate. What's next? Not hard for Michigan to get into, Dakich, is it? Your head is so far up the Wolverines' butt, it's pitiful. Disgusting reporter. Wonder why they employ you and your bias. I don't know. Because I'm a genius? I don't know. Because I got all this? I don't know. Because I'm smarter than everybody? Because I'm funnier? Because I've got experience? Robert C. Taylor? Because, well, so now I am up. I'm going to say it in Sparty talk. Not hard for Michigan to get into, is it, Dakich? Your head is so far up the Wolverines' butt, it's pitiful. It's pitiful. You're a disgusting sports reporter, Dakich. You're disgusting. You suck. Wonder how they keep you in your bias. I don't know, Bob. I don't know. I just don't know. But I'm going to keep on keeping on, Robert C. Taylor. I'm going to try real hard. What's next? Sometimes I just like doing voices. Why can't I do voices? Bob and Tom did voices. I was like the only fan you had left like. I like Wes Anderson movies. I was like your only fan. Ish. I was like I'm a adult male, man, sometimes the stuff I say is funny only to me, okay? All right? Okay. All right. JPG on our YouTube chat says, I got blocked by DD long ago on Twitter, but damn, these people suck at insults. I agree. I need a better class of insulters. But think about the fan bases that are coming at West Virginia, need I say more? And Sparty, need I say more? I'm just saying. All right, what's next? Well, yeah. What's the point? 3.6 points a game, two-time captain, Elite 18, Big Ten champion. I don't know what to tell you. What can I tell you? I went to Indiana to win, not score points. I am an easy target, though. I would say this, because most people bring up whether I called somebody a meth head, which I didn't, whether I said I would go or not go in a pool with a woman named Joanna Mellis. That wasn't my wife. She wanted to go at it in a pool. I wasn't going at it in a pool because I respect my marriage. And then what's the last thing? I forget. There's all kind of controversies with me. But this one I'll take pride in because I couldn't touch the rim. I was the worst athlete in the history of Indiana basketball, and yet I was the only two-time captain, me and Quinn Buckner, so there were two of us. Started on an Elite 18. Yeah, Big Ten title. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Captain Curtis. What else we got? And I'm not defensive about it because I'm proud that I averaged 2 assists a game. Go ahead. What else we got? I got eligibility left. Only played in 98 games? That sucks. Seems like I got to play in more. All right. That concludes. I'm just happy I had college stats. I almost died at birth. I was a waterhead baby. Look at the size of this head right here. Seriously. I almost died at birth. They had to take me back in and say, what's going on with this guy's head? I had to sit out a year of high school with a bone disease. The fact that I made it to Indiana is a damn, All right, let's go woke or dope. Let's dope the woke for right now. And then I got some stuff to say about the Preakness, and I got stuff to say about the weekend. Let's see woke or dopies here. Oh, entertainment in the woke area. Too sexy, cancel. Children's, oh boy, is that true. Oh man, is that unbelievable? Keep that on there for just a second. The top part, too sexy, cancel it. Those of you that are of a certain age, do you remember the movie About Last Night? I talked about it, I think, a week ago. I happened to be flipping channels. And About Last Night with Jim Belushi, Rob Lowe, Demi Moore was terrific. Maureen McGovern, I think was her name. It was great. It was like a classic movie for guys my age because they were all my age. We'd go to Mother's. We'd go to Butch McGuire's. We went to Rush Street. We went everywhere. So that place spoke to me. But there is a sex scene in there between Rob Lowe and Demi Moore that is unlike anything you will ever see in today's movies. It's freaking awesome. And this was pre-re-racking by Demi Moore. This is before Demi Moore pumped those babies up. They were perky. Demi Moore did not mess around. Demi and Rob Lowe, if they weren't actually having sex, it is the best faked sex scene ever. And I thought to myself while I was watching it, that top thing there, there's no way people would show this right now. There's no way, no chance. This would make television right now because it was too good. I'm telling you, Demi Moore is walking around naked. Rob Lowe's walking around naked in the kitchen. She's by the fridge. The light hits her, and we got full sun. It's unbelievable. The only thing that we get with this now is for children. This is what children see. This is true. Go on, Tipper. Oh, I'm telling you. Now, my guy Aaron sent me an article that said Rob Lowe said, yeah, well, it was more technical than sexual. I got to tell you, there's no way. And oh, by the way, this is true. This is straight from Nick Nolte and Bill Friedkin's mouth. The sex scenes that you see between Rosie Perez and Woody Harrelson in White Men Can't Jump, they were having sex. They delayed the crew. In fact, they were banging so much in the trailer, in Woody Harrelson's trailer, that they hitched the trailer and drove them while they were banging. Now, that's not me talking. I wasn't there. But that's what movies used to be. Now everything's you're too sexy. Well, you're wearing a bikini. Well, I cannot believe. Seriously, it is awesome. Yeah. Get yourself, sit down, get your wife. You don't need porn. You just need About Last Night. It's funny. It's clever. It's irreverent. It's kind of stupid and cheesy at the end. But hey, it's a love story. What are we going to do? But I'm telling you, that would never fly now because every purple-haired fatty that has some initials or alphabets by it would lose their ever-loving mind. Freaking awesome. Awesome is what I got to say. Awesome. It's awesome. Give it a watch. What else we got? And let's get rid of drag shows in schools. Can we? That seems stupid. That is really funny. Lee and I were watching this. Look at this. When you show up for Casual Friday, but it's only Thursday. That dude Fetterman is combination. One of the things I really dislike about this country and one of the things I really like about this country. Like Fetterman, look at the white dude behind Fetterman. First off, the white dude behind Fetterman looks like a beanpole, looks like he is about ready to get eaten. Like if Fetterman turns around, and I want you to picture this with me. I wish I could draw. I wish I had a telestrator. And turned and opened his big mouth and just took whatever white guy that is behind him and ate him. It would be freaking awesome. It would be awesome. Now, our guy Van Pasterman, he lives in Pennsylvania, and he wants it very, very clear. He wants it very clear that he did not vote for Fetterman. Nobody could vote for Fetterman. I don't know what Dr. Oz was thinking, or I don't know what Pennsylvania was thinking. But I got to tell you, you couldn't vote for that. Look at this. What a disrespectful boob. What a mental health patient boob. But hey, look, I got to tell you. Ellen Cashman, it says Fetterman is on his way to tend to the rabbits. Look at this idiot. Oh, how good is that? Yeah, they are. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Dakich cycles for the city. Go look it up, please. Donate. Just go to dandakich.com. Go to dandakich.com, and there's a donate button. We just got it up. We paid a lady to do a website for us. Yeah, it's got all of our podcasts. It's got all of our articles. It's got everything. If you missed the podcast, you can go to OutKick.com. You can go to dandakich.com. You can go to Twitter. You can go everywhere. But we're trying to raise money. We have one big fundraiser. It's July 10th. I need 32 teams. By the way, Sean Black, I mailed your check. I mailed your check. Let me know when you get it. Sean is El Presidente of our YouTube chat. He always supports my golf outing. He comes in. He has a blast. He's a star. And I got to support his golf outing. So as they say, the check is in the mail. It is. Ryan Mueller, do me a favor, email me or send me a note at dandakich.com or DM me your address. I swear to God, I got your shirt sitting in my living room, Dakich Cycle shirts. I also have a bunch of Don't At Me shirts that I got to get out to folks as well. We want to build this show into the biggest and the best in the country. We're on our way. We keep building an audience, but we also want to do it by helping our community. We want to do it by doing things within the Indianapolis area. And oh, by the way, you're damn right. The lovely ladies of Harvard softball. Tegan Shaw is top right. That's not her best picture. The sun was hitting her port. These women are awesome. It's going to be on at 7:30 Eastern time tonight. I believe it's on ESPN Plus. I'll have to look. Jennifer, you know you got one. Email me your address. I'll have to find it. I got to get them. I got to get this organized, but I got to tell you, this week and next is a mess. Next week, I'm leaving. I'm getting home whenever they lose. We're driving back 9 hours. And then on Tuesday, I'm leaving for Harvard's graduation. Harvard's graduation is basically Tuesday night, Wednesday all day. I don't know. We may have to get somebody to do the show Wednesday because it's an all-day thing, and then Thursday. So it's a mess. Or maybe it's Thursday all day that I'm going to have to that's not Tegan Shaw. Middle row, fourth from the left. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right in the middle. Oh, yeah. How in the hell do I not know my own stepdaughter? Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that's Tegan. Second row, go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. And that's the lovely third baseman. The best third baseman in college softball is Tegan Shaw. Jess Nunley, go Crimson, except for tonight. Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's all right. Harvard tonight, 6:30. All right. Let's get into a couple things before we say goodbye. I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna say this in all sincerity. You know, we started this little show. And at first it would be like, man, you know what? Here, this is, and now we've got Aaron and Dylan and Ryan, and we've got Haley and Caitlin and you guys. And now we're showing video, and we're just going to keep growing. Hopefully at some point, I'm not doing it from a hotel room, but hey, how great is it that Aaron and everybody lets me see my family, lets me go out here and do it. One of the great things about OutKick is we've got a family here. It's awesome. Like, I'm going to support the hell out of Charlie's show. I'm going to support the hell out of, I do support the hell out of Hot Mike and Clay and Tommy and everything else. And it's all because of you. You know, I left 107.5 The Fan, and you guys came with me. And it's fun as hell. It's fun as hell. I don't necessarily do it every day. I don't necessarily go on the YouTube chat and respond to everything every day, but I read it every day. And it's just really, really, really fun. All right. I am going to give to you my impression of the world in about 3 minutes. 1, I'm done with Adidas. I'm never buying. I may wear this shirt because it's my lucky shirt that I showed you earlier, but I'm done with Adidas. I'm done with Nike. I'm done with Anheuser-Busch. I am. I'm sorry. And it's not because I don't like transgender people. I've said this a million times. I think a lot of you understand this, but I want to say this very clearly. It's not because of that. It's because why can't women get those jobs? Why are we going backwards? Why are we supporting a group that really, if you look into it, there's a lot of mental health issues there, which is fine. I've talked about my depression, the fact that I take an antidepressant. I've talked about it my whole broadcasting career. I'm not afraid to admit anything in my past or in my current life. I'll tell you anything you want to know. But the fact of the matter is, women need to be out there. Women don't need to be marginalized and shortened. So I am boycotting. I will not buy an Adidas, nothing. I will not buy a Nike, nothing. I will not buy an Anheuser-Busch product ever. If I wear one, I don't know what to tell you. This is probably Nike. I don't even know what this is. But I will not buy one. I will not. Until people decide until this country gets itself straightened out and we stop celebrating. I went to Princeton last week. And I'm walking around Nassau Street, and every student that I saw fit this bill. And this is sad. Every dude that I saw was effeminate as hell. Every dude that I saw wanted to be effeminate as hell. Every dude that I saw was ridiculously effeminate. It's like what a lot of folks say. I think Clay says it. I think Whitlock says it. I think a lot of people say it. They're coming after our kids. They want to make our boys not be boys. And I saw it at Princeton. I couldn't believe it. And every girl's a cartoon. Every girl was like a different, that's Lee's words. Lee's like, look at this. Every single girl that I saw on Nassau Street at Princeton was like a cartoon. Wasn't like a real girl. Was like a freaking, I don't know, had some kind of act going on. Whether it was the way they dressed, the way their hair, it was Lee said, look at this. These girls are cartoon characters. Watch this weekend. Next time you're on a college campus, check it out. Princeton was ridiculous. Like I walked outside. I was in a Starbucks with these idiots, and I walked outside, and I looked at a guy, he's probably 45, 50. I go, hey, man. I go, you ever notice that the dudes here are incredibly effeminate and the girls are cartoon characters? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. Then we started talking. I had an Indiana shirt on. He started talking about Bobby Knight. We had a nice chat. But swear to God, this whole thing is idiotic. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here in Arkansas. Now, students are probably out. You're seeing our lineup, and it's a great lineup. Students are probably out, but I'm dying to see, is Princeton that different? Like, I didn't feel that way necessarily at Harvard, but I'm telling you, my God, it's sad. Why do we want to make our boys effeminate? Why don't we want to make our men men? Do something this weekend to help a man be a man, to help a young boy understand it's okay to be a man. Do me a favor. Like, subscribe. Helps our show. Helps our show. Retweet our Twitter page. It helps our show. Our show is the fastest growing show on YouTube. We used to try to get 3,000. Then we tried to get 5,000 a day. Then we're trying to get 10. Now we're trying to get 15,000 views a day. And we don't worry about the actual views. What we worry about is creating unbelievably great content. And I got to tell you, I think our crew is doing a pretty good job. You look at what we did this week between Ennis Cantor and Riley Gaines, 2 national stories out of this little show. More than any other show you're ever going to find. And that is because of you and your interest. All of you on the YouTube chat, on Twitter, on Facebook, I thank you. We're going to be back at it. Ryan and Dylan, you guys are freaking awesome every day. And I thank you. Nick's joining the group. Welcome, Nick. Let's go. Let's go for a hell of a ride. Thanks to everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Go Crim. Go, let me see. Go Harvard. I got a nice little rack on me, don't I? See you Monday.